Hi, everyone. This is Jose Vega, your federal court certified interpreter, here to give you some tips and tricks about working with interpreters in the legal field. So in the last video, I was giving you some tips about how to use an interpreter when interpreting via Zoom. And we talked about a couple of different workarounds when you need to interpret simultaneously for a person in a hearing, and it was a little complicated, very a little bit complex, cumbersome. But now, as promised, I bring to you the Zoom simultaneous interpreting feature. This is a feature that most people have in their Zoom accounts. They don't know they have it. If you have the webinar add-on, you have this feature. Let me show you really quick what it is about, and then I'll tell you how to work with it a little bit and what some of the issues may be. Look at this this demo that the Zoom has on YouTube. You can search for it as well. Zoom simultaneous interpreting it is called.
Zoom's simultaneous interpretation allows you to connect with colleagues and customers in multiple languages in a single Zoom meeting. With Zoom's unique audio channel architecture, meeting participants can select their language channel of choice to listen and participate in meetings. The meeting audio will be simultaneously translated into their preferred language by live interpreters, and participants will hear their translation at 80% volume with the original speaker at 20%, so they can still hear tone and intonation for greater understanding.
Welcome to all our offices around the world.
Oficinas en todo el mundo. Estamos muy felices de que se puedan unir con nosotros. Hoy vamos a...
Interpreters can be assigned by meeting hosts as the meeting is scheduled, or assigned during the meeting itself. The live interpreter will be notified as they join the meeting and will be able to both see and hear the participants of the meeting for which they are interpreting. With simultaneous interpretation, you'll be able to get more done with anyone. Just another way Zoom is bringing the world just a little closer together.
Okay, so there you have it. It's a beautiful feature. I'll let you know now what are some things that you have to keep in mind. So when the person logs in to the Zoom, when any other participants log in, they have to select a language. Right now, when you go into your normal Zoom depo or hearing, you don't have to select a language. But with the simultaneous feature activated, simultaneous interpreting feature activated, you just click on a language. You have a little pop-up when you first come into the room where you select your language. You would just select English, but the foreign language speaker would select the language. It would only show one or two languages at the most if for a deposition, and it will say the language because the interpreter sets it up or the host sets it up. And they just select that language. From that moment on, that person will only listen to that language. So if you have a Spanish speaker, for example, the Spanish speaker will only hear the interpreter from that moment on, and will hear every other person's voices at a 20% level, 20% volume. So they will know that somebody else is speaking. They'll see you move your mouth and they'll hear your voice come out. But at 80% volume, they will hear the interpreter's voice. And the interpreters, we just toggle between English and Spanish. So when they are speaking in Spanish or whatever other language, we would select English. We select English, and you are hearing the interpreter's voice in English, in the English channel. Okay, what are the problems with this Zoom? The Zoom simultaneous feature has an issue. It has to be enabled from the host when the meeting is scheduled. The feature has to be enabled from the settings portion. It's kind of hidden, and they have to enable that. If the host does not enable that, when you come in, you will not be able to choose a language. But if you do enable it, and if you have the webinar feature, then you will have that opportunity to enable it. You will be able to select the interpreter. You don't have to select the interpreter beforehand, as some of the tutorials mention. You can select the interpreter right then and there. The interpreter will get a pop-up saying you have been selected as the interpreter, accept, you accept it. And from that moment on, we can control the toggling of the languages. This works great, especially for people that are good with technology, because it's hard enough that you have some individuals that come in for a deposition or an examination under oath, and they can barely use Zoom at all, can barely get the audio to work, barely get the video to work. And then you give them an extra step to select a language. That step may be a deal breaker. You can solve that. I guess you should train your witnesses beforehand, or your clients, take them to your office or have them come to your office for the deposition and do this in a separate computer where you have control of it, or your assistant has control over it, and you can set them up so that way they can be able to participate more fully with the Zoom. I don't know why more judges are not using this system. As soon as we had the issue with the pandemic, the federal court system started using it. So the federal courts jumped right in. We had some training. We learned how to use the Zoom simultaneous feature right away. But other courts have not been using it. The occasional judge here and there, the occasional mediator is using it. So hopefully you can get this video to some other people out there. There are some other pitfalls. There's one very important one. And it is when the person is using a cell phone, they would have to select the language. It's just, no, it'll work fine. It's just the same that I was mentioning before. They need to be have some little bit of technical knowledge. They have to have some sort of technical knowledge to be able to at least log into the Zoom and select the language, and be able to have the audio settings correct. That's about it, because the Zoom simultaneous feature will work over the phone for the listener, not for the interpreter. The interpreter does need to be able to toggle. We do need to have a full computer, and we need to use headsets. That's something that you need to let your interpreter know as well. We handle that on our side when you hire an interpreter through us. But I met an interpreter that tried to do the simultaneous interpreting without a headset, and it does not work. You get an echo. Or rather a canceling out of the audio because of the feedback. But well, I hope this video was useful. I hope you can put it to good use. If you have the opportunity to just use the Zoom simultaneous feature just for fun, it's a really cool feature. I love it. I love it. So I really hope that some of you can give it a try. Please thumbs up, like, subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Thank you very much.